sat down, pulling Susie onto her lap and clasping Charlie tightly to her. "There, we'll be all right now," she said, trying to sound confident. "I've got some sandwiches in my bag. We'll eat them when the train gets going." After a while, pacified by the jam sandwiches Judy had hastily packed, Susie and Charlie began to look sleepy. They'd been up since 5:30, and it wasn't surprising. Judy tucked both little girls into her seat and made them as comfortable as she could. When they'd both nodded off, she stepped out into the corridor to get a breath of air. The atmosphere in the packed carriage had become oppressive. The mingled odours of cigarette smoke, stale sweat, and the variety of food that some had brought for the journey were making her feel sick. She wasn't a good traveller at the best of times. After a few minutes, a figure wearing a volunteer's armband came lurching along the swaying corridor. As the woman drew level with her, she cleared her throat and ventured, "Excuse me, can you tell me where we're going?" "Norfolk, dear," came the reply. Judy frowned. "Where's that?" "East Coast." "Will it take long to get there?" The woman shrugged. "Can't tell. There could be hold-ups, what with the troop trains and everything." "Is it safe there?" Judy asked. The woman shrugged. "Reckon to be, if anywhere's going to be safe." The woman staggered on down the corridor, and Judy sighed. Where would they all end up, she wondered. Would Hitler really invade? Would the planes really come and bomb London to smithereens, as some folk said? There'd been such stories, rumours of everyone in the city being killed within days of war being declared. It was enough to worry the life out of you, especially when you'd got kids. With Mum and Dad going off to join ENSA and Sid volunteering for the army, she was left alone in London. Sole responsibility for the girls lay on her shoulders. It had been down to her alone to decide what to do. She only hoped that she'd made the right decision. Feeling in her pocket, Judy found a mint and popped it in her mouth gratefully, hoping it would stave off the feeling of nausea. She missed her Mum and Dad. If she was honest, she couldn't really say she missed Sid all that much, though, and oddly enough, the girls hadn't asked about him at all. In a way, she was grateful. There was enough upheaval for them to cope with at the moment. Standing looking out of the train window as the crowded suburbs gave way to green fields, her thoughts went back to her childhood. Some would say it hadn't been an ideal childhood, and in some ways she supposed it hadn't, but she'd been happy enough. Her parents, Harry and Christine Mitchell, both worked in the evenings, Harry as a pit musician at the Hackney Empire, and Christine as a dancer in the resident chorus troupe. The plus side was that they were there for her in the daytime, so she had more of their company than most kids. And they loved her. There was never any doubt about that. There was always someone to take her to school and be there when she came home. In the holidays there were always trips to the park and jaunts up west to look at the shops and visit the zoo. In the evenings and on matinee days, she was minded by Auntie Lily, who lived next door. Auntie Lily had cried this morning when they left. She was in her 70s now, and she loved Charlie and Susie as if they were her own grandchildren. Judy only hoped she'd be all right, left all on her own in Hackney. Judy left school when she was 14 and got a job in the sweet kiosk at the Empire, which meant she was at work at the same time as Mum and Dad. It was there that she met Sid, who was a commercial traveller. He worked for a well-known confectionery firm and often called in to take the theatre's orders for sweets and ice creams. He was a lot older than Judy and had a line of patter that could sell ice to Eskimos. Right from the first, she'd secretly admired his strong, handsome features and his dark, slicked-back hair, shiny with Brill-cream. He wore a pinstriped suit, and his trilby hat was set at a jaunty angle. He soon had her swept off her feet with his flattering shut-up line and his saucy winks, and it wasn't long before she'd agreed to go out with him. Sunday afternoons with Sid soon became a regular feature.